Listen to the message. What time does the shop close on weekends?
Hello, thank you for calling Polly's Paints. Unfortunately, if you're hearing this message, we must be closed. Our hours during the working week are from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. On weekends, we open half an hour later and close half an hour earlier. We hope to see you then.
A man is ordering lunch. What dessert does he order?
I see that you have a few options for dessert as part of the combo. What do we have here? Oh, cookies! Yum. Oh, wait. I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I can't have those. I should be a bit cautious with the chocolate chip as well, because they're probably made in the same place. I'll go for the ice cream, just to be safe.
Marisol asks her brother for a favour. What does she need?
Hey, brother, I need some help. I know I already owe you money, but I really need you to get a gift for Mum's birthday. I ordered one online, but the shipping was delayed. I know you work at the mall, so it should be easy enough to find something. I'll pick you up an hour after work so we can go straight to the party.
The woman is shopping. What does she need to buy?
I just love this store. Everything fits so well, and the clothes are just great quality. Look at this dress. Wouldn't it be fabulous on me? I know, it's not in the budget. I came in here with a purpose, to find comfortable footwear to match my handbag. Let's go to a different store.
A teacher is speaking to a student. Why is the teacher upset with the student?
I must admit, I am very disappointed with you. Despite always completing your homework and having excellent test results, your lack of punctuality is really having an effect on your overall grade. If you continue to arrive after the bell rings, you will not be permitted to enter class.
Two friends are discussing a film they watched. What did the girl most like about it?
So what did you think of the new superhero movie? I thought the actors were excellent.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty good. I wasn't a huge fan of their outfits, though. They looked low budget.
Yeah, I agree. But they must have spent a fortune on special effects. Everything looks so realistic.
Oh, absolutely. I loved the way they made the characters fly and teleport. That was my favourite part.
Joseph is talking to his parents. Why is he late for dinner?
Hey, Mum and Dad. I'm really sorry that I missed dinner. I could make up some story about how my bus was in an accident or how there was such heavy traffic, but I don't want to lie to you. I forgot my watch at home and my mobile phone died, so I really didn't know the time. I apologise for making you worry.
Julia is making a dentist appointment. What time is it at?
Hi, I'd like to make an appointment for a dental cleaning, please.
Sure, how about 2:30?
No, unfortunately, I'm still at work then. I could come on my lunch break at 2:30 if that's okay, but I think I have a cavity.
No, that might take some time. Why don't you come in after work? Is 4:30 okay?
Yes, that is perfect. See you then.
A man is at a job interview. Why did he leave his last job?
Well, to be honest with you, I really enjoyed my last job. I became friends with most of my co-workers, and the salary was good as well. What really killed me, though, was the journey to and from work. I was spending a fortune on public transport and a lot of time. It really started to take a toll on me, and I need to be closer to home.
A reporter is giving a weather forecast. What is the weather for tomorrow?
It has been absolutely boiling these past few days. I know most of you have been getting used to these sunny skies, and I hate to rain on your parade, but that is exactly what is going to happen tomorrow. You should be expecting some precipitation for the next 24 to 48 hours before we return to nice hot weather.
Two colleagues are discussing what to have for lunch. What do they order?
I'm really craving Mexican food today. What are you thinking?
We had had that last week and I felt so full I couldn't do any work after.
So, are you suggesting something healthy? A salad, perhaps?
Not exactly, but something lighter than a burrito. What about pizza? At least that's more manageable.
A man is describing his home renovations. What was the most expensive change?
I'm so happy to be finally fixing this place up. It has taken me ages to get round to finally saving up the money to fix up the new kitchen. I thought the tiles in the bathroom would have cost the most, but who knew that installing new counters and buying new appliances would be double that? At least I saved money on painting the bedroom myself.
Listen to the message a mum leaves for the daycare. Why will the child be absent today?
Hi, this is Ryan's mom. I'm just letting you know that Ryan will be staying home today. Poor little guy has a fever and a cough. He's really sad to miss his friends at daycare, but I can't let him infect the other children. We need him to have a full recovery before we take our summer vacation in 2 weeks, so it's best that he stays home for the day.
4 people are discussing their techniques for remembering. Complete the sentences. Use each answer only once. You will not need 2 of the reasons.
Last weekend, I went out with a friend and her boyfriend, and I avoided saying his name all night. I just couldn't remember if he was a Jacob or maybe a Jeffrey. I had met him too many times before to feel comfortable asking his name again. So, thinking I was clever, I asked him how to spell his name so I could put his contact in my phone. He stared blankly at me and said, "It's Joe. J-O-E." We can laugh about it now, but I made a fool of myself. Now, I make sure to write down their names the first time I meet them.
I would be lost without my agenda. I make a note of when all my lectures, seminars, work shifts and social events are in it. Some people say using Google Calendar is more efficient, but I have to disagree. There's just something about using different coloured pens to schedule in all my appointments that is so satisfying. I also like to hang on to all of my past diaries. I probably have a collection dating back to when I was in high school, and I look back on them from time to time and reminisce about all the fun things I've done.
I have quite a large family. I have 4 siblings and they're all married with kids of their own. If I hadn't downloaded a birthday app on my mobile phone, I don't think I would ever remember anyone's special days. I used to write them all on a wall calendar, but I would rarely look at it. Not only does the app give me a notification on the day of, but it also reminds me a week before so I can get a card and a gift. I even use it to remind my parents about their grandkids' birthdays.
When I moved into my new flat, I was not used to the self-locking door. I would always leave my keys inside my apartment and drive my housemate mad when I had to ring the doorbell or call her to get inside. We got into a huge fight when I woke her up at 3 a.m. on my way home from a club. I knew I had to change, so I set up a hook by the door so I could grab my keys before I leave. I don't forget my keys anymore, but my friendship with my housemate really suffered after that.
Listen to 2 neighbours discussing a new housing project. Read the statements and decide whose opinion matches the best. The man's, the woman's, or both.
They're due to start the new housing project on Monday. I can't believe they are building a 30-floor condominium right across the street. It's going to make our building look so tiny at half the size, and it completely blocks our view of the lake.
Tell me about it. There's no place in our neighbourhood for a skyscraper like that. When they had asked about this new development, they failed to mention that aspect.
I also think that it's an awful idea because the building will be pet-friendly. Where are these poor animals going to get their exercise living in a shoebox-sized apartment? They are already demolishing part of our neighbourhood's only park to make the structure. I can't believe that they aren't making green spaces a priority.
Forget about the pets. What about us? I used to go for a run on the track in the park every day, and now it's gone. With such an influx of people, they have to find a way to have more outdoor space for us and the environment.
I totally agree. Did you hear that the bottom level is going to have a big grocery store?
At least that's one positive. It would be nice to have a shop just steps away.
No way! It's going to be so busy and crowded all the time. I don't understand these new mixed-purpose buildings. This used to be a quiet residential neighbourhood when I moved in.
Well, I just hope they plan on working overtime to finish all of this construction. It's going to cause such an absolute mess with traffic trying to get in and out of our neighbourhood.
I disagree. I would rather they not on the weekends. It's bad enough having to wake up to construction sounds during the week. I'd really like it if I could have a peaceful lie-in on Saturday and Sunday mornings without hearing heavy machinery.
Listen to a lecturer giving a talk about photography and answer the questions.
What would be the first thing you did if you saw your favourite celebrity sitting in the same restaurant as you? You would probably sneakily snap a picture with your mobile phone and instantly share it with your friends. How about when you're on holiday? You probably take a few hundred photos of various landscapes, historical sites, and some of the food you ate, which I personally don't understand, and send it to your parents or post it to your social media in real time. And then, many of you probably never look at those photos again. Nowadays, photography is completely taken for granted. It's almost as if today's generation doesn't appreciate all the work that has gone into the science and art of developing photography over the last century. Though commercial cameras have been around since the late 19th century, many people did not have the luxury of owning one. Photographs were meant to mark commemorative events, weddings, births, celebrations. They were inaccessible to the general public, especially in the sense that our phones are today. It wasn't until almost 1950 when photographic devices became affordable. The 1980s brought us an even more available gadget, the disposable camera, which saw a shift from a focus on technological advancement and onto the collection of memories. People were willing to trade high-quality images for a cheaper option that allowed them to record the moment. Despite having to wait anywhere between 1 hour to a few days to develop the film, these photographs were carefully organised into albums and only became a bragging point when you had guests over. Granted, moving houses with these was quite a heavy obstacle, and they do currently take up a lot of spaces in garages. The move to digital photography has had its ups and downs for me. As an artist, what I am glad about is the return to high-resolution imagery. However, I'm not really sold on the idea of taking and showing off mundane photos of my breakfast or what I did on a boring Tuesday.
Listen to a student representative giving a speech and answer the questions.
Hello, fellow students. Thank you for attending this campaign rally. My name is Jess and I am running for next year's Student Body President. You may recognise my face as I have been on the committee for the past 3 years in my role of Activities Coordinator. In this role, I planned and facilitated many successful events, including student socials and dances, despite a lack of funding. In my time here, I became aware of an issue that is plaguing the school, the exclusion of many cultures from events. We have an incredibly diverse student body, and my priority is to make sure everyone feels included. If I'm elected, I propose a week-long international festival that will include traditional elements of our unique heritage. Of course, the food and entertainment for this event will unfortunately not be included in our obscenely high tuition rates. Instead, I have some fundraisers that will help us help the community and earn some money to make it the best festival possible. We have been thinking about ways to incorporate former alumni as well, who did not necessarily have the chance to celebrate their culture while they were students here. Recruiting some of these folks will help us cut costs if we can get them to volunteer their services. Anyway, these are just a few of the ideas I have for next year. So remember, don't settle for less. Vote for Jess!